I will love to introduce our next guest, which is basically coming from the Singapore, Mr. Henri Bong.
Thank you so much, Hassan. It's an honor. Seriously, it's an honor to be your second speaker. We just met one time 3 months ago, and I feel like I have been knowing you for my whole life.
I think so. The discussion between me and Henry was the most amazing. We just had a meeting for 30-40 minutes initially, but we end up spending, I think so, 3-4 hours together. And I say, I learned from this guy. He is a real power pack house. You need to listen to him. Replacing something which is a traditional mindset with something he uses as convergence. I'm sure he's going to give you a good talk on that. Thank you.
I wanted to say one thing, I say. I've been traveling to more than 20 countries this year only to speak about this vision of convergence. Today in Dubai, it's one of the best stage and the best event and the best crowd that I've ever seen in the IoT events. Can we just give a round of applause here? I'm seeing my friends, so many friends, the friends from TTN, from Actility, from Kerlink, all these friends are here today. They take a flight to Dubai for this event. Seriously, Asim, you are impressive. We got a very nice accounting lesson right now with all the figures and so on. I'm not as good as Asim on accounting, and I'm a bit more simple, but I start to understand now what is tracking IoT means. You know, what tracking IoT is a great title. I've been thinking about how to track IoT actually for the past 10 years. And you know what? I think that the right answer for me is much simpler. I will speak about peace and love. I think there are too many wars today in this world. Too many wars for us to start a new one and to keep doing a useless one for the past 10 years on the technology protocols and choosing which technology is the best. We have kept hearing technology owners saying that we are the best, we are the most energy efficient, we are the most industrial one for years. For me, the only way to make massive IoT a reality is to work together as an ecosystem, respecting each other. Maybe I'm a bit idealistic. That's because, probably as Asim reminded, I started my career being a diplomat. Just to give you a few words about where I come to becoming the new owner of Sigfox, I actually started my career working for the French embassy. I'm a French-born Chinese. I grew up completely in France. I was born in Indonesia. And I spent my first 5-6 years of career working for the French government, for the Trade Commission. And my job was to explain everyone that France was not only doing great cheese and great wine, but we also have great planes, great aircraft. We also invented GSM. We are pretty good in radio. And I remember when I worked from Beijing, then to Guangzhou, and then moving to Singapore, Singtel came to me in 2011, one of the largest telco in Singapore. And he said, Henry, have you heard about this new industry called IoT? I said, what? Yacht? I what? He said, that's the new big thing. You know, you have to follow that. I've heard that in France, there's a French mafia working around it. You know, a lot of very good radio engineers. They are going everywhere in the world and saying that they have a right technology. So I went to France and taking the French embassy hat, I asked the Ministry of Economy and Finance to say, who are the innovators in the IoT industry? And they started to speak about Cicleo, who became LoRa. They started to speak about Sigfox. That was a 20-people company at that time in 2011. We then met all the people from Kerlink, from NetAtmo, from all these French companies who are starting to say there's a new way to do IoT. If you expect billions of devices to be connected on the network, you can't have wires there. And cellular communication is actually not fit for this kind of very small data being sent very far and which battery is very limited. So if you want this kind of sensors to work for the next 10, 15 years, if you want a water meter to work for 10, 15 years with a simple lithium battery, you will need a new technology called the LPWA. That was the birth of low power wide area network. That was in 2011. Then Semtech acquired Cicleo. Then Sigfox raised a record fundraising of 350 million euros. Never saw that in France. Minister Macron at that time, president now, congratulates the founders of Sigfox many times, decorated him with a Légion d'honneur. And the Sigfox became really, really famous all around the world. They went around the world, they hired 450 people. They went from a coverage in France to a coverage with operators and exclusive partners everywhere in the world, in more than 70 countries. I joined Sigfox actually in 2014. They asked me to end of 2014, beginning of 2015, in order to become their first employee in Asia. So the strategy was to find operators. So we signed up Australia, New Zealand, Hong Kong, Japan. And in 2016, I started to have a small difference of vision than the Sigfox founders. I was saying that if you just do connectivity, you will not be able to make IoT massive. This is why I feel very close to Asim. When he says that, people think about the platform, the connectivity, the base station, the network, and then they forget the use case. So since day one, when we started UnaBiz, we said, okay, I'm going to become the operator of Sigfox also in Singapore and in Taiwan. I chose Singapore because it's a showcase for the world. It's a great city-state. It's a great place to showcase new use cases, very, very innovative place. And I chose Taiwan because, to me, Taiwan has always been the last mile of electronics. So if you want an ecosystem, a rich ecosystem in semiconductors and so on, you have to be strong in Taiwan. We started that, and our vision was different from Sigfox from day one. We said we have to be an IoT service provider instead of being a connectivity provider. From device to application, going from the networks, the cloud, we have to offer our customers an end-to-end solution. Because beyond the cost that Asim has spoken about in his presentation, there's also another risk. I would call it accountability. When you see a POC project in a POC failing in the IoT space, what happens is that everybody is pointing the others. Oh, it's a cloud fault. No, it's the hardware. The hardware is coming from China. No, it's coming from there. It's always pointing fingers and so on. So we decided to provide to our customers end-to-end solution. We provide devices. We do some off-the-shelf devices coming from the ecosystem. We provide bespoke solution with our team of engineers in Taiwan. We didn't care about which technology our customer wanted. Even when we were a Sigfox operator, we were proposing LoRa solutions. We were doing LTE-M and Cat-M1 solution. So we have experience in our team developing. I think that we have more than 150,000 smart meters in Cat-M1 now deployed in Japan. But it was really important for us to be agnostic because it's not about technology. It's really about the customer. So we provide devices, the network with the Sigfox operators, but we also private network with other LoRa players. We also started to work with satellites, IoT providers, nano satellites like Kineis or Astrocast. On the cloud one, we didn't only listen to Sigfox saying that everything has to go back to France. We said, okay, what about if we have a customer there who wants the data to stay in the country? That happens in so many countries. We see it in so many countries. Then we offered other solution. We would provide a LoRa solution or whatsoever. We were doing that at that time. And application, mostly coming from our partners, but we were providing our customers end-to-end solution for any type of device, any cloud, and all the data pipelines. Today, our ecosystem, we are present in 70 countries. We are covering with the Sigfox network around 1.2 billion people in the world. We have around 800 different devices connected in the ecosystem. 1,500 customers, presence in 6 countries directly, and in 70 countries with our operators. I want to say hello to our operators here at Wire for the region too. Osama is going to be in the panel afterwards. And we are processing every single day between 85 million message to 90 million message. We have today 12 million activated device on Sigfox that we are managing, which is completely managed by UnaBiz. When we took over Sigfox, there was only 9.2. So we increased by close to 2.5 million units in less than 16 months. Around 30% of ARR growth. So as you guys know, we are tech agnostic and you know all these different type of technologies. We also have customers who are using cellular, and when it's high bandwidth, when it's critical IoT communication technology, we provide 3G, 4G, 5G with Syntel, with other telcos, depending on the countries. But we also provide SIM card with a partner called SORACOM, which is providing eSIM. We have experience in LTE-M, NB-OT, LoRaWAN, and Sigfox. I think that I'm not going to tell you more. I'm not going to tell you what are the difference of all this technology. But what is important is the next slide. What happened last year? Actually, we discovered, after deploying more than 1.5 million Sigfox devices with UnaBiz around the world, we discovered that Sigfox was looking for a new owner. Last year in January, they were saying that they spent up the 350 million euros, and they were asking protection from the French government, and they were on fire sales trying to look for a new owner. 9 bidders came. Semtech was one of them. Actility too. That was all public information. There were nine bidders. I think that for three reasons, but the French court and the French government decided that we would become the owner. The first reason was, I'm an ex-employee of the company. So all the unions, you know that unions are very strong in France and so on, all the unions were preferring an alumni of a company to take over the technology because we know the company from inside. The second one were the customers. We were representing 20% of the traffic on the Sigfox network, especially with our deals in Japan and in Australia. We had around 1.5 to 2 million units of sensors. And the third reason is I was a diplomat. The reason is because I started my career working for the French Ministry of Economy and Finance. The French government at that time really, because they invested close to 120 million euros on Sigfox. So it was a French treasure. They didn't want it to go to, as I said, a foreign country. And they really wanted to keep some ownership, French ownership on it. So when we realized that we were French management, even if we started in Singapore, they agreed to let us acquire Sigfox. So what did we do after we took over Sigfox? As I explained to you back to 2016 when we started UnaBiz, I already disagreed with the Sigfox management on how they were pursuing the business model. So what we did was that we really clean up the company. You know, we changed the mindset and we moved the company from a tech-centric company to a customer-centric company. We really wanted all the engineers, all the ecosystem to think differently. And we were working with all our operators, putting our operators at the priority, looking for their return and their profitability. Profitability is so important. And I think that we agree with Winker. We just spoke about that just before the event. There are too many IoT companies who are doing IoT without making profit. They put prices which are too low and so on. It's important, but it's important to survive. It's important to cut your costs and increase your margin too. I think that some of the IoT companies have, and including Sigfox by the way, have started to put the IoT connectivity price so low at the beginning 10 years ago that it was really difficult for IoT companies, including telcos and so on, to create a market on it. So they were literally killing the market before the market was already existing. So I want to change that. And with all our partners today, we sit down and we talk about how could we change that? How can we stop the war and create profitability for all IoT operators, for the telcos, for the ecosystem? One thing that we did first was to take out Sigfox from this proprietary corner, like, oh, they think they have a good technology, so nobody wants to work with them. Let's do or go on the open ecosystem like the LoRa and so on. The first thing we did is that we opened the libraries of Sigfox so that any semiconductor, any sensors maker, application solution makers could integrate Sigfox free of charge, zero license. So any semiconductors players could add Sigfox on their chipset because we open our SDK openly on GitHub. You can just scan it and download it on your sensor. And one really, it's like a dream becoming true to me. One of the milestones that I've done this year, we have achieved in just 1 year after the Sigfox acquisition, is that Semtech, the owner of LoRa, has agreed to work with us, and we just announced a partnership of collaboration integrating Sigfox into the Semtech chipset. So here are some references: the LR1110, the LR11220. I'm not going to go into the details, but that means a lot to the IoT industry. To me, there are two things which is literally changing. The first one is that it increased the coverage map for all IoT solution, especially, let's say, tracking solution. Imagine today you have a tracker which is BMO, Sigfox and LoRa. You can go from Europe, which is well covered in Sigfox, going to US or India, where you don't have Sigfox and you have LoRa. With this hybrid model, you will be able to go from one side to another side and track it all the way. It will go on Sigfox in Europe and reach US in LoRa. This is possible because we're using the same chipset now. This is possible because they are using the same spectrum. They are using the same antenna. So this is the first one, the extended coverage. And the second one is even more important. When I go speak and try to sell IoT for the past 10 years, I always face this problem with MNCs, utilities, and so on. I don't think that any MNC or any utilities want to choose one technology. They don't want to be locked down by LoRa, by Sigfox, or even by NB-IoT. We have to get inspired by what is working in the telecommunication industry. When you have a phone with a SIM card, you always have a choice between 2, 3, 4 operators. You always have a choice of the best service, of the best price. Whereas when you do a solution today on LoRa or on Sigfox, you are locked down by one supplier, you're locked down by one operator. This is totally not acceptable. So by integrating Sigfox into LoRa chipset, we are giving the freedom of choice to our customers. We don't want our customers to choose anymore. They have both the technology, and they can just start with, let's say, a Sigfox network, which is public and available. If a Sigfox network is not good enough, if the price is not good, if the SLA is not good, then build up your LoRa network. It's without changing the hardware. And this is so important in cracking the IoT war, which has been happening for the past 10 years. So it's really a milestone to me. We don't stop at LoRa and Sigfox. In my vision, I foresee a convergence of technology where we have today Sigfox being present in 70 countries. So you have all the different purple coverage in the map. Then we have, with LoRaWAN partners, we sign up MOU and partnership with the Things industry, with Actility, with LORIOT, with Senet, as letting us to have more coverage. That's the light blue coverage in the world. But I believe also that we should open this convergence to other protocols. There is a Zeta protocol coming in, the TSUNB, My IoT Alliance. Every protocol using unlicensed spectrum on subject gigahertz should join this convergence and give choice. It extends their coverage, so their market reach, and it gives more choice and freedom to their customers. On the top of that, we are also partnering with satellite communication and cellular communication providers like as Kukas, Kineist, and SORACOM, so that we can provide a real global coverage. When we have tracking devices, we need to be tracked all in the oceans or in the mountains where terrestrial network cannot reach. These are great partners for us to have a full coverage. So this is what we have been doing just to reach this dream that I'm inviting all of you to join. Let's build together a unified LPWAN world. Let's stop the war. Let's stop just the choosing part. Let's give options to all our customers and our partners. Let's build together a unified LPWAN world. Just to give you some figures. So we have around 12 million devices connected now in the network. This is Sigfox, but also some LoRa and some Cat M1. We have around 2.6 million meters today connected, so a bit more than 1.4 million in Japan, 350,000 units in Belgium, 200,000 units in South Africa. We have more than 2 million tracking devices being deployed in the world. One of our largest customers is DHL. So in Germany, we have over 1 million tracking devices deployed there with their rolling cages. One of our sweet vertical is also security. Stolen vehicle recovery, home alarm. There are 4.7 million today homes and cars today being secured by UnaBiz technology. And to come back to the last speaker, I forgot the name. Facility management is indeed raising super fast. Energy saving, how to connect it to the BMS, temperature sensor, CO2. We have today 400,000 sensors deployed, a lot in buildings. So we use LoRa, we use Sigfox, depending on the need of the bandwidth, depending on the need of the customers. So we have just in Singapore around 800 buildings connected today, but it's growing very fast all around the world. So this is just a few examples to show you how our heritage from taking over Sigfox. The last point that I want to say is that I really believe in the Middle East region. I think that after discussing with our partners and met Rashid from InfraX many times, you have a market and you have the creativity, the innovation, and you have the courage to make it happen. The Middle East region has so much potential and so much creativity. We would be happy to help you, just like Asim, to bring you our experience, to help you not to do the same mistakes. But we will be very happy also to bring your innovation to the rest of the world. We have today distribution network and partners in more than 70 countries. We are here to become your partner, and it has been an honor to speak during this event. Thank you very much.